Susannah here. I've come in early. Arthur's downstairs. Are you listening to Erica Badu? Yeah, fabulous. And there you probably can't see it through the window. I wonder if you can. There you go. There's the River Avon, which is right outside our office. All right, today I just want to talk about another book. Now, these are not particularly book reviews in terms of being critical. I just want to highlight books that for me have been really influential. This is quite a recent book that I read. It's a book called Peak Performance. And I went to see the guy. I like going to the Hay on Wye Literary Festival and seeing authors talk about their books. I find that really interesting. And I went and saw this guy last year talk. I think I went with my mum, actually. It was really nice. And he talks about his book and his academic research is the basis for Malcolm Gladwell's theory of 10,000 hours, which is anybody can be pretty good at something if you've done it for 10,000 hours. And the basis of the book is basically, and he studied high-level musicians, high-level athletes, high-level business people, and what was successful. And of course, I'm very interested to know what makes people successful, because do you know what? I kind of want to emulate it and use those tools for our business. So peak performance is very much, in my layperson's interpretation, about pushing to the edge but never going over the edge. So you don't do something half-hearted because you're not going to learn. Because if you and you guys know probably by now, I do Olympic weightlifting and I'm fiddling, and I train with Sonny Webster, who went to Rio to represent the UK in the Olympics. So I've got the kind of pleasure and honour of observing a very high-level international athlete at close quarters, because I hang out with him quite a few times a week. So peak performance is about pushing to your absolute edge but never going over. And for an athlete, of course, you translate that into they don't get physical injuries. They know to push to the edge, but they don't go too far, so they injure themselves and then have to go backwards for 6 months. For a business person, you could probably say that is don't grow too fast. Mind your cash flow, always predict your cash flow out so that you push to your edge but you never go over, because a good friend of mine told me that property developers 1 in 2 go bust. The other one gets extremely wealthy, and typically a property developer, so not a property investor, a property developer will go bust because of cash flow, which is effectively pushing over the edge, isn't it? So push to the edge, but know your limits, but nonetheless, every single piece of practice, so for you guys working in property, it means every single day that you work in property, you absolutely nail it, but you don't go to burnout and you don't go to financial burnout. The second one is about being consistent. So turn up, know your processes, know your procedures, and every day do your absolute best and be very consistent. So you don't go and find deals for like 3 days and then not do it for 2 months, because that's not being consistent. You don't continue to learn and grow your skills. You do it consistently for a number of hours or days a week. And then, and if you're raising money, you consistently work with investors rather than doing it kind of a great big fat push. And then the third aspect, Arthur's on the phone. Oh, he's gone outside, bless him. That's very sweet of him. Arthur and I start work early. The rest of the team's coming in about 20 minutes, which is why I was checking the clock. And then the third aspect is about a feedback loop. So really, in essence, that means a coach. As you guys know, and I don't kind of do sort of talk about our commercial activities much on YouTube, but I absolutely love the mentoring. I have 2 programs. We have an online program and we have a face-to-face program, and I completely love it. And we do very few workshops, but I absolutely love them. So just check out our website and stuff if you want to know more about that. I'm very happy to talk to you guys about it. But for me as an athlete, I have a feedback loop with my Olympic weightlifting. Now, Olympic weightlifting, you don't need to love it, I know, but it's a very technical sport. So you've got to work hard to be very strong, but actually you have to be very gymnastic and very, very technical, which is why I love it, because you can't automatically be good at it. So it's like a love-hate bug relationship with Olympic weightlifting. And so you could not be good at Olympic weightlifting without a coach to give you that feedback loop to alter your position by 1/4 of an inch, etc., etc., etc. So I've seen it physically, what a feedback loop does, and I also have a property mentor, and I've seen it in my business as well. So for you guys, however you arrange that feedback loop, whether it's a group of friends and they give you feedback, or you have a coach, or you have a mentor, and whether it's a short relationship or a long relationship, Peak performance, this guy who studied high-level performance says you have to be consistent, you have to push to your edge but not go over your edge, and then you need a feedback loop, which is essentially a teacher, a coach, a mentor. I just found it really interesting, so it's a fantastic book. So enjoy that one, and I'll do some more I won't call them book reviews, I'll just tell you the stuff that I found really interesting in the hope that it will be really beneficial for you guys too. Right, see you soon. I'm off to see the site of the house we're building. Bye.